Hi there. Welcome to Stay Inspired with Mischa. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Juanita Jennings. She is an actress of over 40 years. She's played so many roles. She's done so many things on the big screen, on TV, as well as on a theater stage. Many of us know her from Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns. She is the fiery Edna in Meet the Browns, but we will also learn so much about the rest of her body of work. Let's hear what she has to say. Thank you for taking the time, Juanita, to talk to me, to talk to us. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for asking me.
Yes. As we all know, there is a lot going on in the world. There has been, oh my God, for what, the last 3 or 4 months. It's just, we've gone from COVID to just these senseless killings of so many Black people, men and women all over the country. And then subsequently, we've had protests all over the world to really just say enough is enough and to honor the lives of those who have been lost. Wanted to ask you, how is all of this landing on you? How are you doing in all of it?
Well, um, I saw it coming.
Mm.
I've been watching and feeling this for about 15 years.
Mm.
Um, I was away working, and I just started, I was really reading my Bible a lot, and I, for some reason, just started reading Revelations. And in listening to it, it sounded a lot like America.
Mm.
When it talks about the whore of the world who was taken and pillaged, and now the world, all the, everybody is looking at you and saying, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Mm.
you're not what we thought you were.
Mm.
And you can't, this country was founded on um, uh, thievery. You come in, you take, you set smallpox to the Native Americans, the people who lived here. I mean, just on and on. And I mean, from bringing us in as slaves for 400 years, the Chinese building, what they did to the Japanese Americans. This country has been run, I believe, by a small group of money white men.
Mm.
And, you know, people are here from all over. And I started feeling 15 years ago that, the people who are running this country, who have been running this country, I think are beginning to realize that they are no longer the majority, that there are a lot of others present who came to this country, some in the belief that they could have a better life. I mean, when you look at what I mean happened to the Japanese Americans, you're gonna come to my home and take my money, put it in your banks, and put me in a concentration camp
Mm.
because I'm of Japanese descent. That's
Mm.
like somebody knocking on my door right now and saying, "Oh, your people originally from Africa, and we taking your home." I mean, um, and I don't know. This doesn't surprise me. This is nothing new. We had a little moment with President Obama where everybody thought things had changed. But I don't know. It breaks my heart that I mean, I don't like racism of any kind.
Mhm.
We are all God's children. And, but as a mother of sons, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard that old adage, little black boys are cute until they hit third grade and then everybody's afraid of them.
Mm.
Well, I've experienced that. You know, um, I remember when I had to explain for the first time to my eldest son how dangerous it was for him. And it happened, I was visiting a friend in Burbank, and she had a son,
Mhm.
and there was another little boy over. And the mothers, we were all talking, then they went out to play.
Mhm.
One little boy was tall for his age, but still, they were little boys. They were like 9, 10. And I was wondering, I said, wait a minute, where are these kids? And we were looking, we didn't see them, we were walking. And then I see the police roll up with my son and that other little in the car.
Mm.
And I said, what happened? He said, look, they were running. We told them to stop. And then they kept running because they got scared. They were little boys playing. We told them to stop. Explain to your son what it means when the police say stop, is what they told me.
Wow.
And I looked at them and I said, you mean little boys can't run after one another and play? These are children.
Mm.
I've had the same experience as a Black woman, twice in Beverly Hills. Once was years ago when I first moved here from New York, and I was going to see my agent who was in Beverly Hills. I had just come from an appointment. I was dressed well. I get out of my car. There was a little elderly Jewish man walking down the street. And I saw him earlier, you know, when I pulled up. When I got out and crossed the street to go towards where he literally started shaking.
Mm.
And I got back in my car and I cried
Mm.
because for the first time, I knew what it was like to be a Black man in this
Mm.
country, where
Mm.
just the sight of you makes somebody physically quake.
Wow. Wow.
I know, you know, I know what it's like as a Black woman when you go in a store, oh, and they follow you around, and oh, can I help you? And, oh, you know, I've had those things, but where the physical, with just your physical presence,
Mm-hmm.
makes someone quake.
Wow. Wow. I can't tell you how much what you're sharing means to me because I am also the mother of two Black men.
Mhm.
And like you, it really grips me to think that their skin color is a problem, that walking down the street is a concern. And my sons are 2,800 miles away. And so it just
Ooh,
really bothers everything in me,
yes.
to just know that they're okay. I
Mhm.
had the pleasure on that note of attending a memorial with my sweetheart earlier this year. I believe it was earlier this year, where you gave the most amazing tribute to one of you all's friends, Mr. John Wesley. And you talked about Black men, and you talked about Brother Wesley's love for his daughters, and you talked about your husband, and you talked about your sons. And one of the things you said that really stuck out for me was Black men don't get enough credit.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about what you meant by that?
Well, there are a lot of Black men who are home, who stay, who are heroes to their kids, who are raising them. And they all don't have to come with big bank accounts. There are working class men, there are, it runs the gamut, but there are a lot of brothers who have stayed, who have been there, some of them raising kids alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And at that very event, the celebration, I didn't realize all of who was out there until afterwards, and realized I was talking to Brother BT, brother, so, some, who raised his son alone.
Yeah.
Another, I mean,
Yeah, it was a
I
lot of
have
amazing Black
a
men.
lot of
Right.
amazing Black men in that space, and
That's
my
right.
husband, as I said, being one of them. Um, uh, I'm tired of the game that's being played. And a lot of it is in the entertainment. Images say a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We've used all kinds of tools to survive from slavery up till this day.
Mm-hmm.
And some people believe in the Willie Lynch letter or not. But one of the first tenets is divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of that Willie Lynch letter, it says, eventually you won't have to do anything. They'll do it themselves
Mm-hmm.
because we've been trained. I see it with, it's funny, I was watching one of the news segments the other day, and there was a pastor, a white pastor, who said that he was raised in a household where his mother said, oh no, we're not going to have any of that stuff. Black people, brown people, we are all the same.
Mm.
He said, I grew up with that. And it's funny because I've often thought that if women got together of all races, we could make a difference in the house. So, hey, I don't want to hear that. No. Whoop, mm-mm. Well,
Mm.
I feel that the people that have been in control don't want women to get together.
Mm.
So I guess, what was it, about 10, 12 years ago, or maybe more, that we started with these housewives who don't like each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My main concern is the Atlanta housewives. And then you, of course, have the New York, the New Jersey. No. That's what helped us get through. We as Black women have supported one another from the beginning. And even as time moved on, and they played games, through some of our brothers in jail, and you got mothers raising kids alone, or whatever. Even in the single mothers helping one another. Oh, you got to do so and so. I got the kids here.
Right.
Oh, blah blah blah. Neighbors coming together.
That's right.
We have been. I ask you people, please stop buying into the hype.
Yes.
They don't want us to like each other.
Mm.
They don't want women to get together, because that's power.
Yeah.
That is power. And so I even when you think of, and my God, all these men that have been taken, well, but there've been a lot of women.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matters means every Black life.
For sure.
Say her name.
Yeah.
That organization has been out here for quite a while. Mm-hmm. I participated in a Say Her Name event, maybe about 5 years ago. I can't remember how many. They flew women from all over the country who had lost a female family member. And they asked some actresses to do the words that these women had written.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at the, I guess it was at the Geffen Museum. We were out there. And before we as actors got up to speak, they showed this lengthy documentary of, I couldn't believe the amount of Black women who had been killed, raped, and nobody knows about it. They actually had footage, and I don't know how it came out, probably like today, someone may have been recording it for their fun and it got into the right hands. They had this sister, this young woman, they had her in solitary confinement, pulled her out, had her out there butt naked, and they were taunting her. The guards. Then they showed, this was before Miss Blaine, they showed a cop stopping a young Black woman, pulled her out the car and dragged her across the lot like she was a rag doll. I myself, years ago, I wore my hair just like yours, very similar, very low. And I was doing a play in Culver City. And I took Washington all the way back, all the way to where I live. A cop car followed me all the way from Culver City to my door.
Wow.
And when I was shaking. I mean, I get nervous when I see cops anyway, but to have them follow, they were right. So when I got in front of the house, I rolled the window down and I said, "Officer, is there a problem?" And they looked, no, and they drove off. And I thought, my heart was in my mouth. I thought, what were they gonna do? Why were they following me?
Right.
And I knew my hair was low. So I was thinking, they thought I was a man, a Black man. What would they have done if it was one of my sons?
Right. Right. Right.
So I just really pray that what's exciting about today is to see so many people all over the world stepping up.
For certain.
And when you see a young white parent bringing their babies out with them, come on now.
There was the cutest video online of about 5 or 6 little people who were none of them were more than about 7 years old. And it was a conglomeration of Black kids, white kids, and they had their little signs walking down the street saying Black Lives Matter. And it was the most adorable thing. And I posted, this brings me so much joy because somebody is talking to them. Somebody is telling them the truth about how we need to live and how we need to treat each other as individuals. So, like you said, just seeing white women bringing their children or white men bringing their children to join with our children is some beautiful harmony. And, the hope,
because it's going to take all of us. And I want people to understand, all of you young people who are out there protesting, are you registered?
Right.
Make sure you vote.
Yeah. And as Stacey Abrams reminded us on Sunday, in addition to making sure you vote, make sure you fill out the census, because we have a way of underestimating how valuable and important the census is in terms of community resources. So in addition to what you just said and encouraging us to vote, also make sure that we fill that census out. I want to just pivot here a little bit
Okay.
and talk about your amazing body of work and your amazing career. You have been an actress for over 40 years.
Yeah.
Over 40 years. I mean, that's a long time to be doing anything. And you not only are an actress, you are a very compelling actress, right?
Thank you.
Um, you have done everything from the big screen to TV to stage plays.
Yes.
Three of your most recent projects are Lee Daniels. You've done 3 seasons on Lee Daniels' Star.
Yes.
You also had a recurring role on OWN's David Makes Man.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're in Pearson, which is a spinoff of Suits.
Yes.
And my question to you is, what do you enjoy most about being an actress?
Well,
What has 40 years in the business meant to you?
let's see. I would say that, first of all, I knew at 6 that I wanted to do it.
Really?
And I can tell you the moment, and I can tell you what it was. My mother and I used to go to the movies every week, or she'd, take me to the theater. And my mother was a stutterer. She got burnt in a fire as a little girl. It and it so in a sense, I I think God made me her voice.
Hmm.
And so, as I said, she enjoyed theater and blah 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 and film. And my mother, my parents weren't together. She was a single mom, and we went to see a movie called Imitation of Life
Yeah.
with who? Juanita Moore. And the singer, not just singer, the the God-inspired Mahalia Jackson.
Hmm.
And when I saw that movie, um, I know, first of all, Juanita Moore was doing a form of acting that no one was doing at that time, not even some of the people in the film with her. They were still doing that, but she was coming from her spirit, from inside. And the storyline was, for those who don't know, that this was a Black maid who was working for an actress a Broadway actress, white actress in New York. And she cleaned house for her and took care of her daughter. And she had a daughter the same age as her employer's daughter. And her daughter was mixed race. And the mixed race daughter grew up with the other little girl, and then eventually she realized, oh, I'm not the same. And oh, I can pass. I can leave here, go somewhere else, and be a white girl. She left, and her mother was mother hadn't heard from her. She did some research and went to visit her little girl at her place of business. And she was talking to her when one of the other workers came in the room, and the daughter introduced her as her nanny who had raised her. And I remember Juanita Moore saying, okay, Miss Laura, I'll see you, and left. The next time she saw her mother was in a casket being rolled down 34th Street, big send out by her the lady who worked for her.
Mm-hmm.
But what we saw, first of all, was the funeral. And Mahalia Jackson said it all at that funeral by her song. Soon I will be done. She sang that song and it went, and I was a little girl, but it just
She has
moved me.
that voice that goes right through you, does she
Yes.
not?
And I understood. I was like, you know, And then the little girl is running. She missed the funeral. But then they're taking the hearse down. She starts running down. Mama, mama, I'm sorry, mama. I knew at 6. Number one, I knew how hard my mom worked to raise myself and my 2 brothers, 2 other men in my life. And I thought, how could anyone deny their mother? And I don't know, there was just something about that movie right then and there. I knew I had to do it.
Wow.
And the interesting thing about it, see, God works in mysterious ways.
Yes, he does.
I found out later through my mother's best friend's oldest daughter that she had named me, that she had suggested the name Juanita, because there was Juanita Moore and there was another Juanita, I forget her name, who was acting. And you know how today they go, oh, how about, Jada, or how about Denzel, or what, So that was her suggestion, and that's what, well, doesn't end there. We move here to LA and go up to, Yamakawa up there off of Franklin, that Japanese restaurant. It's been there for years.
Okay.
We had made a reservation, walk in, and who's standing there but Miss Juanita Moore?
Really?
And I don't get impressed by anybody but the Lord. I mean, in terms, you know what I mean? I don't.
I'm not a starstruck kind of girl.
I'm not a starstruck person, but I went, oh my God, I was named after. I'm an actress. And that next year, a friend of mine, actually, he wrote a film that I was in. Ken Sagos has, I don't know if he still has, it had an organization called Giving Back, where he would honor 2 people each year, and the proceeds from the money, and everyone would go to young Black kids for their books, for their to help facilitate their college move. Well, he called me out of the blue and said, Juanita, I got 2 honorees this year. One is, I can't remember who the other one was, and Juanita Moore. I would love for you to be my mistress of ceremony, and I want you to introduce me. I went, okay. Then, a few years ago, I can't remember how many, I was away, and I got a call from Ken, and he said, Miss Moore's sick. I got back home, and then he called me, Miss Moore died. He told me where the funeral was. I went. It was and she had it in the chapel at the Hollywood. I went there, went to the funeral, and then afterwards went and watched them put her ashes in the crypt, in the wall. And I said, look how God works. That was no, So once I realized at 6, that's what I wanted to do. I took classes. I belonged to a theater company as a teenager. I was one of the youth in the Negro Repertory Theater Company. And I knew through that experience, I went, okay, God gave me the gift, but I need to learn my craft. And so I started looking to what were the best schools for theater, or the best acting programs, and one of them happened to be where I lived, and that was Boston University. And so from there, I learned my craft, and I never stopped doing theater. I love theater. So when I moved to New York, I was doing it. Before I moved here. I remember Alfrey Woodard, who she went to Boston U. We knew each other in Boston. Okay. And she and her, then I don't know if she was married to Rod at that point, but they were in New York and came by to visit. And she said, she said, don't give up your theater. She said, that helped me a lot. because people, you know, I know people give LA a bad name when it comes to theater. Oh, ain't nothing. No, there is theater here. And depending on where you know, there are some very serious people here.
Because the
Not
thought of that
everybody. Huh?
theater is, because the thought is that theater is really about New York. Is
But
that right?
it's, mm-mm.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
that's,
saying, is that the perception that people
yeah,
tend
yeah,
to
yeah.
have?
I think, and
They
they
think
think that,
theater, they think Broadway in New York.
or they think that, well, you know, people just come to LA to do movies and film
Right,
and
right.
but to me, theater has always been my gym.
Mm,
That's where I work out.
mm,
I don't know what I'm capable of doing. You know, people go, oh, well, I don't think so and so could do that. Well, how do you know?
right, right.
I took the time to learn my craft, which gives me the freedom to fly.
That's right.
And so I will go and step over the ledge
Mm,
because I know, you know, um, and the other thing about it is that I've gotten some very, I got the agent that I really wanted. I've gotten relationships with casting directors, film from people seeing me on stage.
mm,
There's a difference between someone seeing you on stage or an audition where there's a lot of people, we all coming in and we all go. They see, because if we're doing our job as actors, when we're on stage, the first thing I do is pray to ask me to get out the way so that the spirit of the character can move through me.
mm.
And if I'm doing my job, I break that fourth wall, that you as an audience come inside me and
Yeah.
you start feeling what I feel. When I walk in an audition, it's, oh, hello, yes. Are you ready? Okay. Well, it's just a different experience. So I often tell actors, you know, who are coming from wherever, you know, Minnesota has an incredible theater town. Ooh, there's a lot of theater there.
Mm,
People can work and live
mhm.
off of work there, you know. Um, but I love both mediums for different reasons. You know, they
Awesome.
both speak to me and allow me to I love it because hopefully whatever I do either makes you laugh, find some joy,
Yeah.
or recognize something in yourself that you need
Right.
to see, or healing, hopefully healing.
Yeah.
Um, and so I look at myself as a tool um, for God's work. You know, I don't look at myself as God
Sure.
because, and, you know, unfortunately, sometimes people in the industry get carried away with themselves. And it's like, no, no, no. You are, you know, um, you're not God. You're the gift that God has given you to share.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let me say this. When you think about, I started this conversation off talking about how challenging 2020 has been. When you
Hmm.
think about whether it's your career or just some personal goals that you have, what are you looking forward to as we, kind of look at these next 6 months of 2020? What is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to doing, or you have anything in mind?
You know, first of all, I really think that we all have to sort of take our time with this. I know people worried about money and this and that, but we're all creative people. So we're coming up with things like Zoom. I did a project with a young man and some other actors, and we
Which
have
can I
all.
say was so absolutely hilarious and funny and joy filling. Thank you for sharing that with me. That was just so joy filling.
Well, if you all want to see it, it's on YouTube. It's called Mama's Got a Cough.
Yes.
And the young man who wrote it, you know, he did it because he wanted, and we all did it because we wanted people to laugh during this time. This was pre-protest time. It was just the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted, you know, we were like, let's try to find ways of giving people a little tickle, a little laugh. But in this particular case, a lot of the truth, when they say there's a lot of truth in the joke, and that's where that went.
Yeah.
But so I'm thinking that, I saw last night for the first time a commercial that was Zoom. It was a Zoom commercial. So I just want us to be careful, take our time before we rush into it.
And into it, meaning back into the swings of
Yeah.
things as we normally would.
Yes, yes. I find that we as Americans, period, are very impatient.
Yeah.
We don't know how, and very, what is the word? We have to be constantly stimulized. And we just need to be still for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And I
for
mean,
so many people, there's a risk to being still when you're not used to being with yourself.
mhm.
When you're not used to being in the house with the people that depend on you and that you depend on, that can be a bit scary. So I think some of our impatience have a lot to do with the responsibility of being still,
Mhm, mhm,
you know?
mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah, for sure. Want to ask you this last question?
Yes,
I believe that gratitude makes everything better. It has a way of filling our lives. And I have gratitude stones all over my house, and they constantly just remind me that in any given moment, shifting my perspective to be grateful can allow me to see things differently. And I'm wondering today, what is Juanita most grateful for?
oh, let me tell you, I am grateful for a mother, number one,
Mhm.
who taught me through her actions about God.
Mm,
That's number one. And I mean, my mother wasn't a holy book thumper. It wasn't any of that. But she sent us to Sunday school. We went. I was the youngest in the family and the only girl. I watched miracles happen and unfold.
mm.
I watched them. People always underestimate children, especially the youngest, because they see everything.
Mm.
And I watched miracles happen. And then they continued through my life. I'm grateful for my husband,
Yeah.
for my kids, for health. I've had health challenges,
Mhm.
and God got me through them.
Amen.
I'm grateful that I have a home to uh, sit still in, that I'm not, there's so many homeless people right now,
Yeah.
and it's getting larger and larger.
Hmm.
I wake in the morning with all this stuff going on, and I go, thank you, Lord.
That's right.
Because not only did I see so many people right around me, all this homeless under bridges and da da da. You see people, that's somebody's child.
Hmm.
And I wake up in a bed, not just a bed, a good mattress. And I mean that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because before I got that good mattress, I
Hmm.
was having a little backache here. And no one was like, what's going on here? I got a good mattress, and I can get up, go into my bathroom, and stand in the shower. And that's important for a woman. It's for everybody, but you know what I mean. When I see women on the streets and think, wow, they have to sneak into a bathroom or try to find a way to clean themselves.
Yeah.
It is much, my husband just left to go do some food shopping. Well, you know what? A family of 10 could probably go through our cabinets and refrigerator and come up with a meal. Anyway, even when we think, oh, um, ooh, things getting low, I got to go to. I am grateful for the things that God gives that are free, because what I've been doing since all of this is now, taking a walk every morning, every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to see, I can sit on my porch, on our garden, butterflies just love what we have grown in our front. To see butterflies, they're free. To see the foliage, all of that, I'm like, wow, the best things in life are free.
They
And we have,
really are.
people depending on what they got and how much they got and where they knew, and I need this zip code, no, the best things in life are free. I am
Amen.
grateful for friendship, I'm grateful.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Grateful for the opportunity to speak with you and to others there.
Yeah.
I don't mean to offend anybody, but I do have a testimony, and God is real.
Amen. That he is, and that is a wonderful way to end our conversation. I could talk to you for another hour, but
I got a big mouth, huh?
Listen, I thank you for your big mouth. I thank you for what your big mouth has done for the world and for the contributions you continue to make through that gift that God has given you. Continue to be a blessing and continue to be blessed. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love you too.
Okay.
Let me say this. Since moving to California 2 years ago, God has blessed me to meet some beautiful people. And not just celebrity people, just beautiful people. Juanita is truly one of those beautiful people. And I'm so thankful to know her. I'm thankful for how she's using her life to be a blessing. And I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful that you tune in and hear what my guests have to say. I look forward to talking to you next week. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay inspired. Bye-bye.